Hey guys, let's get into our energy of the week. And I like the vibes of this week, this first full week of the month of June 2024, giving a lot of positive impressions, especially with things to do with love and money, business partnerships and projects that we're working on, financial matters generally. If you've got like anything to do with sales or commercial enterprise or like deals negotiations and stuff like that, they should go very well this week. I feel like this is sort of a special week, especially Tuesday, okay? But all week, we have Venus and the Sun in a conjunction at the same degree, traveling together. The exact to the minute Cazimi alignment is going to happen on Tuesday, which to me is sort of this special day this week, even though we also have a new moon on Thursday that's an exact conjunction with Venus and is giving kind of like a little bit of a special vibe to it as well. This week to me feels like part two of whatever may have started to kind of come into fruition when we had that full moon in Sagittarius on May 23rd. But we've got Mercury entering the sign of Gemini this week, his home sign. He will come into a conjunction with Jupiter. We also have Venus and the Sun in a conjunction all week. And on Tuesday, Mercury will be exactly conjunct Jupiter and Venus will be in the exact to the minute alignment to the Sun. So, it should be interesting. Something, positive or productive, growth, big information, good news. There's just a lot of good stuff, good vibes, supportive energy being indicated this week. Let's get into our report of the day, you guys. Let's look at this energy in all of the details, everything that we've got going on to start our week and what things might look like for us as we head towards the new moon on Thursday. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Monday, June 3rd, 2024. My name is Aubrey, and this is your astrological outlook of the day where we are narrating the shift of the ages. In this video, we are talking about the energy that we have going on to start our week this week as we move towards the new moon that will take place on Thursday. And if you guys stick with me till the end of the report, I've done a collective tarot reading for us today as well. I like to tap the energy field from more than one modality whenever I'm doing these overviews just to get an additional energetic perspective of what's going on out there. So there could be some messages in there for you guys. Let's get into our astrology though. And to me, I do feel like this is a kind of a special week of energy that we have going on. First of all, we have the Sun and Venus traveling together all week in the sign of Gemini. This alignment came exact yesterday on Sunday. If you guys watched my weekend overview, I was talking about it. That happened at 12 degrees of Gemini. And they're going to travel together through like 18 degrees or 17 or 18 degrees of Gemini between Sunday yesterday and Friday of this week. So each day they're kind of like ticking forward to a new degree together. And on Tuesday, actually, of this week, they will come into their exact to the minute alignment known as their Cazimi together between Venus and the Sun. And that's actually going to happen alongside a Mercury-Jupiter conjunction also in the sign of Gemini. I'll tell you guys, both of these aspects, if just one of them was happening in the sign of Gemini especially, it would be really good for like business deals, negotiations, sales, anything to do with like commercial activity, transactions, stuff like that, partnerships as well. But with both of them happening together, I do feel like this whole week, but especially Tuesday, very, very good, very, very supportive for any type of like entrepreneurial anything that you might have going on. So if you got to make a sale, if you got to make a deal, if you got to sign a contract, like this is probably the week to do it. The closer you can get to Tuesday, also the better. Although the new moon on Thursday is also really good energy for this type of thing. You are looking probably at a positive outcome or some type of success associated with whatever you got going on along those lines. So wanted to put that out there to start our report. And also there's a huge emphasis energetically going on in terms of, I feel like pairs, couplings, like soulmates, magnetism, charisma, like connecting dots, like attracting like things that are meant to be together, coming together and coming into alignment this week. Also like a doubling of things could be going on. And I will explain to you as I move through this report why I feel like energy is kind of indicating that. But something else I should probably say as I'm recording right now, we're about to get, I think, like a huge thunderstorm. So if it gets like really dark and you start hearing like flashbang crashes and lightning and stuff, that's what's happening. I keep getting these notifications on my phone as I'm trying to record this that we're about to get like a big thunderstorms. So just letting you guys know, if it suddenly gets dark, it's not nighttime, it's just a thunderstorm. Anyways, let's get into some more specifics about this energy as it's coming together. Of course, on Monday, we have Mercury entering the sign of Gemini. This is really putting us like all into this Gemini energy. We've now got 4 planets in the sign of Gemini: Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, and the Sun. And of course, we're going to have our new moon in Gemini on Thursday, which means the moon will be moving in too. We're going to have 5 planets in Gemini as we move through the week. So we are officially in some really strong Gemini energy. And with Mercury entering the sign of Gemini, that's his domain, right? We already got like a lot of information going on. Very busy energy when we've got Mercury in the sign of Gemini. Got a lot of places to go, a lot of people to talk to, a lot of things to communicate, we're learning a lot. There's just a lot of information, a lot of things going back and forth, a lot of like busy stuff, okay? And then when we put it with Jupiter, this of course amplifies things, makes it bigger. So it's likely to just be a very active week, hustle and bustle. It could be kind of like a noisy week as well. There could be a lot of like random background noise and stuff going on. However, something that we need to remember, okay? Right now, we have Jupiter at the early degrees of the sign of Gemini, which is an air sign. We also right now have Pluto retrograding at the early degrees of Aquarius, which is another air sign. We've been in this energy for several days now, and we're going to be in it for a little while longer. But with Jupiter trining Pluto, especially Pluto retrograde in air signs, this is finding things out, okay? This is seeing like into the shadows, gaining insight into what's been going on under the surface, things sort of being unearthed, like figuring out the deeper layer and element of things. And especially in the sign of Gemini, this is being able to gain a conscious awareness of that which is generally maybe like hidden or obscure, or that we don't have access to. Now with Mercury coming there as well, this is definitely going to put an informational emphasis on this, whether it be the things we're talking about, the things we're reading about, like what's on the news, or just the things that we're thinking about generally. It is going to bridge the gap between the subconscious and the conscious also within us in a way that could be kind of profound. We could be coming to some really, we could be gaining some great insight or some great wisdom into perhaps our own shadows or our own subconscious issues and hangups in this energy as well, which could be quite transformative, with it being Pluto who regenerates and transforms things. Or because of the simultaneous Venus, that's another thing we need to talk about. Venus will not let go, okay? This Taurus energy, even though we are moving out of Taurus season, it is still holding on, and we are really going to be dealing with the fusion of Mercurial Venusian energy for the next several weeks. Okay, we've been in that energy. We had Venus and Mercury in mutual reception. We recently had the Mercury-Uranus conjunction in the sign of Taurus. Really blending the Venus, Taurus, Gemini, Mercury energy. Mind on my money, lots of talk and business and activity around business or projects or partnerships or resources, land, our work, what we're building, what we're creating. This is not going to change. This is not going anywhere. The fact that we have Venus and the Sun in an exact conjunction with the moon for our new moon in Gemini, in the sign of Gemini, tells us that we are headed for yet another lunar cycle where the Venus, Mercury, Taurus, Gemini energy is kind of intertwined and fused, synthesized together. And again, we are going to continue to have this mental emphasis on partnerships, relationships, projects, value, worth, money type of stuff, what we're building, what we're creating, land, food, assets, everything that we have been so immersed in throughout this Taurus season, the themes that we've been talking about over and over, like the mental emphasis, the informational component of those things, all right, like it's not going anywhere. It's going to be sticking around as we go through our upcoming Gemini lunar cycle as well, which we will be talking all about on Wednesday. I'll have a video out for the new moon on Thursday, and we'll be going into all the details in that regard. But for now, this is a video about Monday and Tuesday of this week, and the notable features of Monday and Tuesday this week are Monday, Mercury entering the sign of Gemini, and then on Tuesday, which to me is this special combination of energy happening that is very specific in what it is supporting, Mercury coming into exact conjunction with Jupiter and the exact to the minute alignment between the Sun and Venus also in the sign of Gemini. So with Mercury entering Gemini, heading straight into a conjunction with Jupiter, this of course is going to bring up big news, big ideas, good news, positive opportunities are going to be coming to us kind of like out of nowhere. It's actually interesting because on Tuesday, when we do have Mercury and Jupiter come to their conjunction and the Sun, Venus, Cazimi, when they arrive at the exact to the minute alignment together, Mars is going to be at 27 degrees of Aries, and that Sabian symbol is through imagination. Lost opportunities are regained. To me, that is kind of like in a nutshell what this week really feels like. I feel like this is an energy moving through this week where we are going to find ourselves coming into alignment with spontaneously, randomly, not things that we're trying to make happen, but are just like poof, we're just there and it's just that's what's going on around us, bringing opportunities that are for the better somehow, that again, like maybe we didn't expect. Or another way that I feel like this energy is functioning this week is like chapter 2 actually of that full moon in Sagittarius where Jupiter and Venus were in a conjunction that happened on May 23rd, and I was like, this feels like a Cinderella moment, and then everything changes. To me, if you watch that video, my full moon video, I was talking about it, to me this energy that we have coming in this week with the Sun Venus conjunction and Mercury and Jupiter together, I feel like this is like phase 2 or chapter 2 of whatever came up maybe with that full moon in Sagittarius that we had then. So huge influx, you guys, of communication, people very talkative, very on the go, again, very busy, energy on the move here and there, but opportunities and blessings are coming with this also. Positive mindsets. We get to see the bigger picture of things when we have a Mercury-Jupiter conjunction. Now, this may, as I said, with the Pluto trine going on as well, this may be the bigger picture in the context of things that we're finding out that were obscured before and that we didn't realize were happening, and that kind of opening things up for us and presenting, questions could be coming up with this as well, but presenting like a different, perhaps just array of insight or information than we had, a different lens through which we can perceive a situation than we had been in the past. Or it could just like literally just be bringing an influx of communication and information that is coming to us that is helping to like clear things up somehow. So it should be an interesting week. There is a level of like excitability that I feel like could be going on in the context of all of this as well. And looking forward to something, a future focused energy and connecting dots, things making sense, like the pieces coming together, and just being able to gain the more bird's eye view perspective of something that perhaps helps us to make a good choice or a decision about something, or to move forward with something in a way that is beneficial or successful somehow. So that is really like all over the chart, okay? And also because of the simultaneous conjunction between the Sun and Venus, this is charisma, magnetism, charm that really is kind of off the charts. With Jupiter and Mercury together, this is an ability to speak and communicate in a way that is received very favorably. And then with Venus and the Sun together as well, this is also being able to be, very charming, to get your way with stuff. This really is kind of like silver-tongued type of energy that we have going on. Highly, highly, highly persuasive, being able to sell anything. This is like being able to sell the ice to the Eskimos and sand in the desert type of vibes for sure. So use it to your advantage if there is, a sale that you need to get done, or a deal that you're trying to close, or a favor that you're trying to, sway in your way. You'll be able to win people over to your side of things in this energy. It's just the way that it's functioning, just likely to get what you ask for. So in that regard, in that context, extremely favorable week for all forms of business and commercial activities generally. I hear the wind picking up out there. Okay, I closed the window because the rain started coming, so I hope it's not too loud with all the storm that I've got going out there. So I want to talk about just a couple of red flags now. Whenever we're dealing with Jupiter energy, that's the great benefic, you guys, that generally brings the blessings and the luck, the good fortune, everything beautiful beautiful, especially when we've got the Venus influence as well. However, it can also take things over the top. It can overinflate things. And when we're talking about Mercury conjunction with Jupiter, this can kind of give us a bit of a big head, okay? It can make us very like self-righteous and feel like, you know, we're the only one that knows anything. It can kind of be like know-it-all energy, and it can make us a bit overly confident. So those are the things that we want to look out for in this energy, not necessarily thinking because like we figured some things out that like we know all there is to know and we're the only ones that know it. And I'm telling you, there will be people who are manifesting this energy that way. So, you know, just pay them no mind as you move through this, and don't be one of the people that kind of comes off that way, because obviously this is a time of learning, okay? This is a time of expanding our mind, expanding our purview of information and understanding. This is not the time of thinking that we happen to have all of the answers, which it can also trigger and indicate. And it can also cause us to kind of like overlook smaller details of things, because it pulls out to such a big picture, and we can have such like a grand sort of like overall view of things that you can neglect the fine print, the details, sort of like the small stuff. So as long as we keep those things sort of in check, this really should be, I feel like, a really good week. Generally upbeat, positive, productive couple of days, and especially on Tuesday. I want to talk more specifically about the energy of Tuesday, actually, just because there is some very interesting breakdowns in terms of a lot of random synchronicities that are coming through in the energy of Tuesday. Of course, that is the day that we have these two exact conjunctions happening in the sign of Gemini 2, right? The twins, Mercury ruling the sign with Jupiter expanding the entire influence of the Gemini energy, and also the Sun and Venus coming to their exact alignment. Interestingly enough, the degree where they come into their exact alignment on Tuesday is 14 degrees and 28 minutes of the sign of Gemini. Now, 14 times 2 is 28, right? So we actually have a doubling effect that is being presented in terms of the specific to the minute alignment of these two planets in the sign that is literally represented by a Roman numeral 2, okay? So we've got a doubling that is happening between 1428, the degree where this is taking place, two exact alignments, and also the Sabian symbol placement where this degree is taking place, 15 degrees of Gemini, or not the degree, where the conjunction is taking place, that's 15 degrees of Gemini, which there's 30 degrees in every sign, right? So it's actually happening at the midpoint of the sign. We've got another doubling effect going on there. And the degree placement where this is 15 degrees of Gemini, that Sabian symbol is actually two Dutch children talking and studying their lessons together, which is the utmost in like Gemini energy being expressed in symbolic terminology. Two Dutch children, Gemini is about children, Gemini is about pairs, studying and learning their lessons together. Gemini is also about studying and learning and acquiring an array of information, lessons. So very, very interesting placement for the Cazimi. I'm telling you guys, we are going to be learning a lot about ourselves, about other people, and about like financial stuff and things like that as well as we move through this next year. Venus and the Sun coming together. This is a new cycle in love and money, and the sign of Gemini has everything to do with what we're learning about and the information that we are gathering. While the ruler of the sign is in exact conjunction with Jupiter, trining Pluto, it's all coming out, you guys. We're going to find out a lot of stuff over this next year. Check your chart. Where do you have Gemini? Specifically between, 12 and 18 degrees, but really like 10 and 20 degrees of Gemini. This is where you're starting this new cycle of understanding things in the realms of love and money and relationships. But so we've got all of those interesting synchronicities that are playing out in the context of doubling, twos, pairs, Gemini. It's happening on a Tuesday as well, you guys, so we can't neglect to say that. And of course, Gemini, this is the sign of doubling things. This is the sign of the twins. It also rules polarities and oppositions, but it really much speaks to mirror images, counterparts, soul unions. Reminds me of the Lovers card that we've got going on in the tarot deck. aspect, like this is the vibe that this energy is bringing. The sun and Venus coming together at the degree, I mean, the sun and Venus in their conjunction, 3 different ways. The Sabian symbol placement, 2 cobblers or 2 Dutch children studying and learning their lessons together. 1428 is a double. 15 degrees doubles to 30 on a Tuesday, while we've got Mercury ruling that energy also in a second conjunction happening in the sign of Gemini. Yes. And we also have the position of the Earth, which is always in an exact opposition to the sun on Tuesday, who's in the conjunction to Venus, 15 degrees of Sagittarius. That Sabian symbol is a groundhog looking for its shadow. So again, this is like a reflection, right? Something that we are seeing that mirrors what we are coming back to us, or also the theme of shadows generally that we are looking for, that we are looking into being exposed, seeing into the shadows. Very, very interesting how all of these are like synchronistically correlated in the context of what this energy is also indicating. So mirror images, as I said, counterparts. I feel like I'm seeing soulmate energy here, okay? The intense level of magnetism and attraction that is brought about by the sun and the alignment with Venus as well. And then with just the Gemini influence, you guys, and like the whole doubling of things, like very important people, very important partnerships, relationships, I feel like indicated here. The 1 becoming 2, magnetism and reflection, like attracting like, also opposites attracting as well. And whenever we're dealing with Gemini energy and we've got pairs and we've got couples and we've got twins, it also presents the like opposing, polarizing energy. We've also got contrast and dichotomy and opposition and polarization when we've got strong Gemini energy. So there's likely to be things that are coming and like very like each other that are gravitating together, but there's also likely to be opposites that are attracting as well. And then there's like repulsion, like things being pushed apart, like opposing things also being pushed apart. Could be something that we see. So all these themes and concepts kind of interplaying off of each other, manifesting in different ways. This is also in a sextile, you guys, to the north node of the moon, the Venus Sun conjunction, cazimi, that we have going on Tuesday. The north node is at 14 degrees of Aries, and this is happening at 15 degrees by Sabian symbol placement of the sign of Gemini. Aries and Gemini, those are sextile placements with each other. So we've actually got a sextile between the destiny point, the next, where we're going, what we're going into. This is indicating divine alignments. So I feel like a week of divine intervention, things like magically kind of falling into place, connections, meetings, special focus, of course, on relationships, on projects, partnerships, the Taurian themes, as we have had the focus on these Taurian themes coming out of Taurus season. People saying what's on their mind, though, you guys. People are going to have a big mouth this week. It's a very communicative energy, expressing their feelings, verbally expressing love and affection as well. With Venus and the sun together, people are going to be like lovey-dovey, kind of like having some nice things to say, very gracious, very charming. Again, if this is the week where you need to sway someone to your side, it's probably going to go really well. And don't be surprised also if there is some type of doubling effect in your life somehow this week. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the relationship context or even a financial context, but like things multiplying or things being multiplied by a factor of 2 somehow, I feel like could just be coming up in a way that is significant. I do think that we're generally going to feel pretty on top of our game this week, mentally at least, and good things are likely to be happening. Good news is coming in. The things that we're figuring out are helping us. We are feeling more, I feel like, even though, Gemini, it's not the most stable energy. It doesn't present necessarily like a whole lot of security about things, but because we have the sun and because we have Venus coming together, it's like these are fresh starts, and Mercury and Jupiter that are going to be like bigger than we might have expected or successful in the long run. Big ideas, solutions, corrections, opportunities though. Mars at that degree, through imagination, lost opportunities are regained. I think that this is kind of just what people are going to be experiencing. We should feel quite stimulated, maybe even excited, but definitely more optimistic and maybe like interested about the things that are playing out in our lives, about the potential for things that are going on in our lives right now, the possibilities that we could find ourselves in. Very, very busy week though, and just a very expansive, mentalized energy that we have going on. Very strong air sign energy we're in now. Lots of important conversations, and again, like big news. There's likely to be a lot of news going on as well, like very fast-paced news cycles playing out, a lot of like breaking news and stuff like that. And again, a lot of it is going to have to do with things that were hidden, things that were like shady, things that we didn't fully understand were happening, and it's going to clear some things up. So that's what I have to say today, you guys, about how energy is coming together. Oh, one more thing that I wanted to know, especially in the context of the Sabian symbol placements. I didn't specifically nail this point down earlier when I was talking about it, but I mentioned how I feel like energy this week is playing on that full moon in Sagittarius that happened on the 23rd of May. That is because the degree where Jupiter and Mercury are coming together for their conjunction on Tuesday is the same exact degree where that full moon took place. The sun and the moon were in opposition to each other at 3 degrees of Gemini and Sagittarius when we had our full moon with Jupiter in the conjunction to Venus. That was this very high point energetically of our year that everybody in the astrological community was talking about, you know, how it was such a beautiful full moon. And then we kind of like, you know, had a major vibe shift the very next day, and things may have seemed a bit up in the air. But I do feel like this energy is coming back and doubling down, you know, the theme of doubles that I've been yammering on and on about. It just popped into my head, like doubling down on that energy of the full moon. So something about that could come back around for the better in this energy, especially being at the 3 degrees of Gemini, Mercury and Jupiter on Tuesday. That Sabian symbol is the Garden of the Tuileries in Paris. So things are likely to be looking very beautiful again. Okay, you guys. So that's really what I have to say about the astrology as it's coming together for the first part, for the intro of our week this week. I like it. I'm getting a good vibe just from talking about it and looking at the chart. I feel like, you know, it may not be like the most expected. The moon is also going to be forming a conjunction to Uranus. The moon will be in Taurus forming a conjunction to Uranus on Tuesday when we've got all this stuff going on at the same time. And of course, you know, shocks and surprises. So it may not be the most expected interactions or opportunities or news that we've got coming to us, but it's going to probably be positive and have us feeling optimistic, or at least like things are moving in a more positive direction, okay, as we head towards that new moon that's coming up on Thursday. So that's what I'm going to say about the astrology. Let's talk about the tarot message that we have coming through now for a minute. This energy that's being presented in the context of the tarot cards, I feel like is talking about us actually being able to get out of something, maybe figuring out how to cut ourselves free from something, how to back out of something, how to walk away from something somehow, and maybe it happening quickly, information or communications coming through quickly that like divert our attention maybe to something that we didn't see or realize was happening before, maybe present a different option or alternative, give us like a fresh perspective on something that helps us actually to release something that maybe we have been holding on to or felt like we couldn't let go of for some reason. This is also could have to do with people and relationships, commitments, partnerships, financial things as well. I say that because we have the 10 of Pentacles coming out with the 3 of Cups in reverse and the 10 of Wands. And then we have the Page of Cups followed by the 4 of Pentacles in reverse. On the back of the deck, we have the 8 of Wands followed by the 4 of Cups. So this is making me think that there is something coming to us, like some type of information that is coming across our desk, some communication or message that is coming to us quickly, maybe in a way that we wouldn't have expected, that is drawing our attention for some reason. And probably, again, like how to get out of something, or how to be released from something, or how to let something go, or how to return something, or how to divest from something, maybe how to get uninvolved perhaps with something that has been like overly burdensome. Or it could also be bringing a solution, a fresh perspective, a fresh sense of awareness. We could gain some insight, we could figure something out. A lot of times the Page of Swords is like known as like a spy card, sort of. But it's also just like a fresh informational energy. So we could figure something out, could gain some insight that actually helps us to keep going through a situation where we felt like we were not like that we were struggling with, or that was becoming it's like no matter what we do or how much effort we put in, like we're not getting the outcome maybe that we wanted. With the Three of Cups in reverse though, this is bringing up like interpersonal dynamics that like aren't working out that well. So there could be some like interpersonal dynamic that we've been struggling against for a long period of time, that we're suddenly gaining like a fresh insight or perspective on like how to deal with, new piece of information, new idea that is helping us to let go. Four of Pentacles in reverse is the ability to release something. And when we're talking about the Ten of Pentacles and the Ten of Wands, this is releasing something that has been not working, like, or that we've just been putting so much energy into. The Nine of Wands, this is like the wounded warrior energy. It's about not giving up, but it's also like about something that is just like a perpetual like battle and fight, and like we are just constantly working, going, moving, like putting our effort and our energy into something that may not be turning into what we wanted to. With the Three of Cups in reverse, like this is likely, and with Venus there, you know, also this is likely to be in the context of maybe solving some relationship issues that have been keeping us from feeling like we are solid in our commitments and stuff like that as well. But there's an ability to release something via a new piece of information or a fresh perspective that is coming in quickly, that like presents either different options, alternatives that are kind of capturing our attention, or that are just helping us to understand something we hadn't been paying attention to, or that are just like making us maybe like see a potential or an opportunity or an angle of something that we had been like neglecting to even notice before somehow. So something like that could be involved in whatever's playing out alongside this energy this week. At least that's how I feel like it's coming through in the tarot. We're going to grab one more card now, you guys. This is a synchronicity card. God, Spirit, Universe, please give us a piece of additional information, some guidance that we can use in the midst of this energy as it plays out this week. What do we need to know about it? What will benefit us to kind of keep in our mind and use as a little mantra or something as we are going through this energy this week? There's likely to be a lot of shifts and changes happening. I've been talking about how I feel like this period of time is really about transitions. You know, we went through this past couple months, April and May, a very, oh, here we go. This is our card, right? It says decide. So as if the Gemini themes weren't coming through strong enough, we have literally a Gemini theme coming through in our synchronicity card as well. It says decide, and a house divideth, against a house falleth, Luke 11:17. When you cannot make up your mind about something, you are battling in your own mind. Your house is unstable. Come to a clear-cut decision about a situation and follow what is right and good. Stick to that decision. Do not waver. I do feel like this is like a golden ticket advice for this week. There's likely to be a lot of choices and decisions coming up as well. As I was saying, like we are diversifying things, like Gemini energy is all about the back and forth, is all about the choices, is all about the options, is all about the decisions. And with this energy right now, it is it is calling us to decide maybe on what direction we're going to move in, but we are sort of being promised that whatever we come to in this energy, as it said in this card, you know, if it's done right and good in association with the Jupiter qualities, what Jupiter expects of us, okay, I do think that it is bringing us in a good direction, and what we involve ourselves with at this point in time is likely to have some positive payoff somehow, or just set us on a good path. So we've got decide coming up in the energy for our synchronicity card for this week, you guys. And that's what I feel like, you know, message from the stars, message from the cards. That's what we've got going on out there. Probably going to be an interesting week, probably going to be a busy week. Let me know if you guys are having, you know, experiences coming into your life that are in alignment with what I'm talking about, because that would be very interesting to me. So that's what I'm going to say today for our video, you guys. I hope you liked it. If you did like it, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends if you also think that they would be interested in this type of astrology content. Leave me comments, you guys. As I mentioned, I would really appreciate knowing if you are experiencing things that are a reflection of what I've been talking about in this energy, in this report. Let me know in my comment section below. If you want to know what's on this whiteboard, I have a Facebook group where I post images of that linked in my description box below. That's where you can find that. And come back with me on Wednesday. You guys, as I said, we'll be getting into our new moon in Gemini energy, and this is another quite nice moon. Looking forward to talking about it in a conjunction to Venus, so I'll be back to talk about it. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it. I will see you next time, everybody, and until then, have a beautiful start to your week.